Hello friends, this is me, your host. Welcome back to our channel. I hope you all are well and doing great. So today I'm back with another video to give a review on a book which is Our World, Our Home, Building a Peaceful and Beautiful Future. This book is by Dr. Muhammad Naveed Akbar. So we have completed our 9 chapters in the last videos. So we will continue our next chapter, which is chapter 10 in this video, which is about education, the foundation of a peaceful and substantial future. Education is the greatest agent of change. It can transform societies, empower individuals, and end poverty and violence. When individuals are educated, they possess the knowledge and skills necessary to tackle the world's most significant challenges, from environmental destruction to social injustice. From environmental destruction to social injustice, education is not merely a matter of information acquisition, it is about developing critical thinking, empathy, and a sense of responsibility towards people and the planet. A peaceful and sustainable future rests on our education of the coming generation. Learning institutions, schools, and universities have a mandate to teach sustainability, justice, and cooperation values. And education has to extend beyond the classroom. Lifelong learning, information accessibility, and education through community efforts are all needed to build a society where knowledge is utilized for common goods. This chapter discusses the contribution of education to creating a just, sustainable world, the necessity of ensuring that learning reaches all, and how education can be transformed to address the issues of the 21st century. The role of education for world peace. Peace is not the absence of war, it is the presence of justice, equality, and opportunity. Education is essential to building peaceful societies by teaching people how to solve conflicts, appreciate diverse perspectives, and strive for shared objectives. An educated society is less likely to be violent because individuals possesses the tools to communicate, think critically, and collaborate in solving problems. In many conflict affected regions, access to education is often disrupted, leaving young people without the knowledge and skills they need to build stable lives. The absence of educational opportunities creates an environment where misinformation, extremist ideologies, and cycles of violence can thrive. In contrast, where communities invest in education, they create pathways for economic stability, social cohesion, and long term peace. Nations that invest more in education have lower rates of crime, more stable governments, and healthier economies. Education is also important important part of peace building. Courses in nonviolent communication, human rights, and cross cultural education bring people together across ethnic, religious, and social divides. History courses that teach multiple narratives promote critical thinking about past conflicts and reconciliation over revenge. Education can prevent future conflicts from arising in the first place by promoting an understanding of common humanity. But for education to be a force for peace, it has to be inclusive and equitable. Marginalized groups, refugees, and girls in most of the world continue to encounter major obstacles to education. Policies that guarantee universal access to quality education are critical to building a future where peace is not only an aspiration but a reality. Education as a tool for sustainable development. A sustainable future needs responsible and informed citizens who grasp the intricate relationship between human activity and the environment. Education is the cornerstone of sustainability, providing individuals with the knowledge to conserve natural resources, mitigate climate change, and develop resilient communities. Education on sustainability has to start early. The school should include climate science, conservation, and sustainable consumption as part of the curriculum, and education students on how their day to day choices affect the earth. Basic principles of recycling, reducing waste, and water conservation need to be introduced in primary school with higher level of studies of renewable energy, ecosystem protection and sustainable farming included in secondary and higher studies. In addition to formal education, community based learning programs are critical to sustainability. Workshops, environmental awareness campaigns, and hands on conversation projects involve individuals from all walks of life in effective options. Numerous cities and towns have initiated green schools where students take part in tree planting schemes, maintain inner city gardens, and perform energy audits to make their own campaigns more sustainable. These real world applications make students familiar with sustainability concepts, activating knowledge into practice. Universities and research centers also have an important role to play in creating sustainable solutions. By making investments in green technology, climate research, and policy making, higher learning institutions directly contribute to the process of sustaining developments. Interactions among scientists, companies, and governments ensure that research leads to practical solutions that society at large can gain benefits from. But sustainability education should go beyond the environmental. It should also address economic and social sustainability, where students are educated on fair labor. It should also address economic and social sustainability, where students are educated on fair labor practices, ethical business, and the need for global cooperation. Real sustainability is all about developing a system in which people, planet, and progress are balanced. Inclusive education, a pathway to equality. Education should be a fundamental right, not a privilege. Yet, millions of people around the world still lack access to quality learning due to poverty, discrimination, and systematic barriers. Creating a peaceful and sustainable world requires breaking down these barriers and ensuring that education is available all regardless of gender, income, or geographical location. One of the greatest obstacles to equality in education is gender disparity. Girls in most regions of the world Girls in most regions of the world are confronted with cultural and economic obstacles that keep them away from school. Early marriage, gender violence, and societal pressures that keep them away from school. Early marriage, gender violence, and societal pressures compel young women to drop out of school early. Early marriage, gender violence, and societal pressures compel young women to drop out of school early. However, studies repeatedly indicate that educating girls results in increased economic growth, reduced infant mortality, and more resilient communities. Closing the gender education gap is not only a moral obligation but also critical to global development. A second key obstacle is economic inequality. Poor families may not be able to afford school fees, uniforms, and supplies, compelling children to drop out and work to support their families. Most rural societies are without decent school facilities, qualified teachers, and instructional material, resulting in a huge rural urban difference between the rural and urban schooling system. The government need to spend on universal free quality schooling, and offer help schemes like free meal plans and subsidies to the students so that everyone gets the same chance of acquiring knowledge. In order for education to be truly inclusive, it must also accommodate students. It must also accommodate students with disabilities. Many schools still lack the resources and infrastructure needed to support children with special needs. Many schools still lack the resources and infrastructure needed to support children with special needs. Assistive technologies, specialized teacher training, and flexing curriculums can contribute to a learning environment where all students, regardless of ability, can succeed. Inclusion serves all. It encourages a culture of empathy, cooperation, and natural respect. Lastly, refugees and displaced populations face significant challenges in accessing education. Wars, natural disasters, and political instability have forced millions of children out of school. With limited options for the future, global efforts need to emphasize education within refuge camps and conflict zones, providing displaced youth with access to education that can rebuild their lives. Education needs to be a light of hope, giving stability and opportunity during turmoil. The role of teachers in shaping the future. Teachers are at the heart of education. They do more than just deliver lessons. They inspire curiosity, nurture creativity, and shape the values of future generations. The impact of a dedicated, passionate teacher can last a lifetime, influencing not just individual students but entire communities. However, despite their essential role, teachers in many parts of the world are underpaid, undervalued, and overworked. A successful education system depends on the quality of its teachers. Investing in teacher training and professional development is essential, ensuring that educators have the skills and resources. The role of technology in education. Technology has revolutionized education in ways imagined before, making learning more accessible, participative, and customized. More accessible, participative, and customized. From online learning and from online learning and virtual libraries to AI-based tutoring and virtual classrooms, today's tools have the potential to bridge educational gaps and connect learners in even the farthest corners of the world. Yet, though technology provides enormous opportunities, it needs to be integrated wisely so that it acts as an enabler and not as a hindrance. One of the greatest advantages of technology One of the greatest advantages of technology in education is accessibility. One of the greatest advantages of technology in education is accessibility. Where conventional schools can be rare or under-resourced, online platforms offer students access to learning from world-class teachers. Online learning platforms like Khan Academy, Coursera, and edX have transformed learning by providing low-cost or no-cost courses in subjects from elementary literary literacy to high-level science. Moreover, mobile learning applications have enabled students without computers to access knowledge via smartphones. The digital divide is still a major problem. Millions of students, especially from low income and rural communities, still do not have consistent internet connectivity, digital devices, and minimal technological proficiency. This gap has become more pronounced during times of crisis like the COVID-19 pandemic, which prompted numerous schools to shift to online learning. While and teachers and students skilled in utilizing digital learning instruments. Furthermore, technology can support education but cannot substitute the human touch of instruction. Learning is not merely taking in information, it's about working together, sharing, and guidance. AI powered tutoring systems might be able to give customized learning plans, but they cannot substitute the emotional intelligence, motivation, and flexibility our committed teacher brings to the class. There needs to be a balance where in technology supports human instruction and does not substitute it so that education is complete and interactive. Importance of lifelong learning. Education does not end with graduation. In an ever changing world where companies change, new jobs develop, and worldwide problems call for solution finding abilities. There needs to be a balance wherein technology supports human instruction and does not substitute it so that education is complete and interactive. The importance of lifelong learning. Education does not end with education. In an ever changing world where companies change, new jobs develop, and worldwide problems call for solution finding abilities, lifelong learning is critical. The old system of education, where individuals finish formal education during childhood and then settle into a permanent profession, is no longer compatible with the demands of today's economy and society. Lifelong learning encourages resilience and flexibility. With automation and artificial intelligence transforming job markets, workers need to be continually enhance their skills to stay relevant. Governments and companies need to invest in vocational training schemes, online certifications, and adult education programs that enable employees to shift to new positions as industries change. Nations with robust lifelong learning policies have reduced unemployment and economic greater economic mobility since workers are well placed to deal with shifting job markets. Aside from professional growth, lifelong learning supports individuals' growth and community involvement. Individuals who learn throughout life tend to remain intellectually engaged, mentally alert, and socially engaged, whether through literature workshops, online courses, or community education initiatives. Lifelong learning develops the spirit of ongoing enhancement and contribution. Governments, schools, and employers need to eliminate obstacles to adult learning by offering flexible learning opportunities, financial support, and validation of non formal learning experiences. Promoting a culture of lifelong learning is not only good for individuals but also for society as a whole, as it produces well informed citizens who can make well considered, informed citizens who can make well considered, evidence based decisions. Breaking down barriers to learning. Even with the empowering potential of education, hundreds of millions of people worldwide remain trapped behind strong barriers to learning. Trapped behind strong barriers to learning. These barriers are not just economic but also cultural, political, and institutional. In order to create a world in which education is really a universal right, societies will have to make an effort to make eliminate these barriers. Economic disparity is still one of the largest issues. Most families are unable to pay school fees, textbooks, uniforms, or transportation, and children are compelled to leave school and join the workforce early. Free and adequately funded public education Public education systems are crucial in preventing any child from being deprived of learning because of poverty. Gender discrimination still denies access to education, especially among gender based violence, early marriage, and traditional societal norms deter millions of girls from finishing their education. Investment in girls' education by nations results in more economic growth, better public health, and decreased poverty levels. Gender disparities should not only be addressed through financing but also by changes in culture, legal provisions, and programs at the grassroots level that focus on women's education. Gender discrimination still denies access to education, especially among girls in developing most developing countries. Gender-based violence, early marriage, and traditional societal norms deter millions of girls from finishing their education. Investment in girls' education by nations results in more economic growth, better public health, and decreased poverty level. Politically instability, conflict, and displacement ultimately undermine education for millions of children. Refugees, internally displaced people, and populations exposed to war usually find themselves denied access to school as well as safe educational environments. Education should be a priority in conflict situations by international organizations and humanitarian assistance provides, making sure displaced groups continue learning. Portable schools, virtual classrooms, and mobile libraries are just some of the creative solutions that can bridge the educational gap within conflict areas. In addition, most education systems continue to depend on old curricula that fail to equip students for the contemporary world. Rote, rote memorization, strict layouts, and a failure to focus on critical thinking, creativity, and problem solving make students unable to address global issues. Education reform should aim to teach skills that foster innovation, flexibility, and sustainability, breeding learners for the challenges of the 21st century. In addition, most education systems equip global collaboration for education. No one country can do it on its own to overcome the problems of education. Knowledge sharing and global cooperation are imperative in the pursuit of providing access to high quality. In the pursuit of providing access to high quality learning to everyone, independent of nationality, by sharing best practices, resources, and research. Countries can join forces in the development of educational systems and facilitate innovation in learning. Initiatives like UNESCO, Global Education Coalition, and Erasmus have shown the potential of international cooperation in education. Cross border research collaborations, student exchange programs, and international research collaborations provide chances for cultural exchange, enhance outlooks. Universities can become instrumental in such initiatives by formulating collaborative research projects, providing joint degree courses, and supporting faculty exchanges that encourage global education. Technology also makes it possible for more open access to knowledge. Open education sites and open source learning resources permit students across the globe to tap into the same quality materials, bridging differences between developed and developing nations. Governments, organizations, and donors need to continue investing in digital infrastructure and pro equity policies that promote accessible global education. Mul- Multilateral initiatives to establish global standards in education, foster language acquisition, and incorporate sustainability into curricula will help create a better informed and cooperative world society. Investing in education, a key to sustainable development. Investing in education, a key to sustainable development. Education is not merely a social investment, it is an economic and environmental one. Nations that invest in education have faster GDP growth, equipped to meet the challenges of tomorrow. A call to action. The destiny of our world hangs in the balance of the quality of education that we impart today. It is now time for governments, educators, businesses, and individuals to make learning a central pillar of global development. Education should be inclusive, innovative, and accessible to everyone so that no one is left behind in acquisition of knowledge. By investing in education, we are not just constructing people, we are building societies. A sustainable, peaceful, and equitable world is within our grasp, but it starts in the classroom. Summary of Chapter 10. Learning is the foundation of world peace and sustainability. Learning is the foundation of world peace and sustainability. It has to be lifelong, inclusive, and suited to the demands of the contemporary world. Reduced crime rates, better health, and more societal stability. In short, education is among the most efficient solutions to most of the world's largest problems. Investing in education promotes innovation and entrepreneurship, and it leads to the creation of jobs and economic growth. Nations that invest in science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM education, tend to dominate in technological innovations, renewable energy technologies, and sustainable business models. Yet, an educated populace should also have an exposure to the humanities, arts, and social sciences in order to create well educated, thinking citizens. Education is also a strong tool for climate action. Research indicates that populations with higher education levels are more likely to back and adopt sustainable practices ranging from waste reduction to the use of clean technologies. By promoting environmental literacy and sustainability education, governments can build a generation technology, international cooperation, and learning investment are crucial for creating a future in which knowledge enables people and makes societies more resilient. So, this is all we have from this book, from this chapter. I hope you guys like the chapter. You get the information that how much education is important for everyone. If you get the point, don't forget to like the video. I'll be back with another video with another book. Till then, just take care and goodbye.